Next section in the final deals with rules of exponents. Again, this is all open notes for the final, so have out in front of you all those rules that were used during that section. Basically here what I have is 1 power of x times another power of x. The rule for that is that I add the powers, so it becomes x to the 6 plus 5. So my final answer here would be x to the 11th. When I'm asked to write in scientific notation, that means I only want one number in front of the decimal and I want to multiply by 10 to some power. Really what it means is I need to understand where the decimal moved. So it started here. To move it behind the first significant figure, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4 times that it would move. So I'd be left with 1.42, where there's just a single digit number in front of the decimal, times 10 to the power of how many times did I move? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here when it asks me to go the other way, remember that if I have a positive here on my exponent of 10, that's going to get me to a big number. But here when I have a negative on my exponent for 10, that's going to get me to something less than 0. So the way I like to think about it is this -5 tells me how many zeros I have to put in, including the one in front of the decimal point, before I start writing numbers. So I need to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that I have my 5 zeros, including the one in front of the decimal, I can start writing the numbers I see. 417. The other way to see this is I could start at 4.17 and I could move the decimal place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, filling in 4 zeros after the decimal. Number 13 asks me to multiply. Here when I'm multiplying, I have to think back to which rule of exponent I'm using. I can just do the 5 times 3 as regular multiplication and get 15, but then when I'm doing x cubed times x to the 8th, I have to remember that that's x to the 3 plus 8. That's why my final answer becomes 15x to the 11th. When I'm asked to simplify here, I need to keep x's and y's separate. Really it becomes power on top minus power on bottom. So on top I have x to the 4th, I'm subtracting from that second power, which is on bottom. For y's I have 6 on top, I'm subtracting from that 9, which is on bottom. That would leave me with x squared, y to the -3rd, which is technically mathematically correct, but really we want to make sure that any negative exponents are resolved before we give a final answer. So if I have an exponent that's negative on top, I want to move that variable to the bottom as positive. In this case, the x squared can stay because it had a positive exponent, but the y to the -3rd becomes y to the +3rd on bottom.